All right, boys. So I wanted to get on here to talk about Jaylen Brown, um, because he just signed the richest contract in NBA history. So Jaylen Brown agreed to a 5-year, $304 million supermax extension um, with the Celtics, and this is the richest contract in NBA history. So I wanted to talk about the implications for the Celtics and what will happen in the future for the Celtics. Um, so my initial reaction to this um, contract was like, bro, there's no way you're giving Jaylen Brown this much money for him to not. He can't dribble to his left. You know what I'm like? You know what I'm saying? So, and he's inconsistent, jump shooter, all that, and he's a bad off-ball defender. Yeah. So now looking back at it, I still think it's a bad contract. In his last year, he's getting $69 million. I'm pretty sure, which is just insane. That's more than every player, like 10 million more than every player in the NBA right now. Like even Jokic, who got his super max, more than that, more than his own teammate Jason Tatum, more than Steph, more than LeBron, more than Kevin Durant, more than really anybody. Um, and I think this goes to a bigger problem, which I think the NBA has fixed with the new CBA, and that was that like you would miss out on money if you didn't make an All NBA team. So like an example of this would be Klay Thompson couldn't get the Supermax because he missed out on an All NBA team. This was in like 2018. He he was definitely an All Star, and he just didn't make the All NBA team, so he couldn't get the money. Um, and this happens to a lot of players. So, um, Jaylen Brown is a guy who's always been good in the regular season. He's always been pretty good in the regular season. And he's racking up All Stars, racking up All NBAs. And that's why he's in this position to get a 5-year, $300 million extension. And to be honest, I still don't like it. But it will age a little bit better as time goes on. Like in 3 years, you guys won't even be talking about this contract because it won't even be that bad. But does Jaylen Brown deserve to be the highest paid player in basketball? No. No, he doesn't. I think Steph's still making more yearly right now, but Jaylen Brown will be making more than Steph in a few years. So, in terms of team construction for the Celtics, now you're locked into Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown as a duo. I don't think there's any way you could trade Jaylen Brown after this contract. And to be honest, I don't know if that was the right decision. Like, yes, they got to the finals, but I think the moves that the Celtics made in the offseason didn't really move the needle that much. Honestly, the Celtics should have lost in the second round to the Sixers if Embiid and Harden didn't choke. They definitely should have lost there. And I don't think adding Porzingis and then moving Marcus Smart was that, like, impactful, really. Like, Marcus Smart is a great player. And he was really the leader of this team. And I don't know if Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown can fill that leadership role. Which, obviously, leadership isn't as important as basketball skill. Like, I hear that a lot when people are talking about players. They talk about leadership as much as skill. They're really not on the same tier. I can tell you that. Like, leadership is a great quality, but skill is definitely more important. So, obviously, I can see them making the conference finals again. But especially if the Heat get Dame, like, the Knicks could get better, the Cavs. Like, this East is nothing to sleep on. Like, the Sixers, they're kind of fumbling right now, but you almost lost to them last year. So, to me, this contract was a mistake. Not really. It's not really that Jaylen Brown doesn't deserve to get paid. It's just you need flexibility with your money, especially in the new CBA. You need flexibility with your money, and this contract just makes it like there's no way they can sign another, like, perennial all-star caliber player, or like when the Warriors got Andrew Wiggins on top of Clay, Steph, and Draymond. Like, the Celtics are not going to get a player like that because of this contract. So, I do think it's interesting. But, like I said, in 3 years, this contract will not be as bad as people are saying it's going to be. And a comparison that I've been seeing on, like, social media and stuff is like when Mike Conley got $153 million, and that was the richest contract in NBA history at the time. And I think that's a good example. Except I think Jaylen Brown's a little bit better than Mike Conley. Just like a little bit better than Mike Conley. I would say that. But like, Mike Conley wasn't the richest player for long. And we seen that contract. Actually, it did kind of age bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he was getting overpaid with the Jazz when he was on the Jazz. When he was on the Grizzlies, he was getting overpaid. So, it aged bad, but nobody really talks about it anymore. And that's what I think is going to happen with Jaylen Brown. Like, nobody's going to talk about this contract in a year. But I will say, if he doesn't fix that left hand, he doesn't get a better dribble package, if he doesn't become a more consistent three-point shooter, if he doesn't work on his off-ball defense, this will become like a really bad situation for the Celtics. that every time we talk about the Celtics, it's like they're young, they have time, they're young, all this. Which I guess is true, but you can't waste time with players. Like, let me give you an example. Like, LeBron and the Cavs. Like, the Cavs for 7 years gave him Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Mo Williams. Mo Williams played like 2 seasons for the Cavs. Carlos Boozer played 1 season. Like, just inconsistent help. And you could see, I don't know how, he was like 22, and he brought his team to the finals with a team that was mediocre at best, that probably wouldn't even have made the playoffs. They probably would have been one of the worst teams if they didn't have LeBron. So in those years, there was a trade package for Amari Stoudemire, I believe. And the Cavs didn't want to trade for Amari Stoudemire. And then LeBron just ended up leaving the next year and then going to the Heat. You can't waste years with Tatum. You cannot waste years with Tatum. Because, like, another example would be Luka. Like, Dame. Like, I bet when Dame got drafted to Portland, he was like, I have LaMarcus Aldridge. I got all these guys with me that can help me win a championship. 11 years later, this guy's demanding a trade. He's been preaching loyalty the past 5 years, and he finally gave in. The NBA, there's only a certain amount of teams and players who win. So, yes, they're young, but it's going to be years in the future. Tatum's going to be 32. Jaylen Brown's going to be like 33 or something. He's 34. And we're going to be like, this team could have won a championship. But they didn't put the pieces around. They made bad contracts. They made bad trades. And, you know, Tatum doesn't have a ring. And then we don't talk about him like these other guys who have rings. Countless rings. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Dirk didn't get his 2011 ring, we wouldn't be talking about him. If KG didn't get his 2008 ring, we wouldn't be talking about him. If Paul Pierce didn't have his 2008 championship, like, he would not be relevant at all. Like, the separator between AI and like, I don't know, like David Robinson for some people is rings. You know? And David Robinson wasn't even the best player on his team when he won. He wasn't even close to the best player on his team when he won. So, I mean, I just find it interesting. Just the culture around rings. But yeah, that's really my take on this situation. I don't think this is a good contract, but it won't be as bad when we look in the future. I feel like people have to understand that inflation will happen. So money will increase. And like Victor Wembanyama is going to get more than this. I'm going to tell you that. He's definitely going to get more than this. Chet Holmgren, Paolo Banchero, all those guys are going to get probably more than this contract. And we're going to be looking in the future, and a guy like Victor Wembanyama making $60 million a year is not even going to be that crazy. So that's really my thoughts on the contract. Let me know what you guys think. See you later. Peace.